Have you ever thought about what would happen if instead of leaving the closet door open, you left it closed? Or leaving the kitchen light on instead of turning it off? Do these actions really impact your future? You might think that they don't, but trust me, they do. I happen to know. One small light in my kitchen did. Had I chose to turn it off, this might not have happened. But since I didn't, my life has changed forever. It was a sunny Saturday morning in April. I remember that it was only 2 weeks until my birthday. I was preparing to head to work as I decided I wanted some extra pay so I could maybe have some backup money available if I ever needed it. As I began to walk out the door, I remembered that I left the kitchen light on. The lazy person that I am, I just shrugged it off, got into my car, and drove to work. The workday continued on as normal, and soon enough the clock struck 5 and it was time for me to go home. Upon getting through the door, I threw my bags on the counter and went into my bedroom to get changed. I was pretty hungry at this point, as I only had a small lunch, so I decided to head into the kitchen and just heat up some leftover pizza from the night before. It's funny how I didn't even notice how I had to turn the kitchen light on again. Some things just fly right over our heads. After dinner, I went and sat on the couch to watch some TV. After a while of flipping through the channels and finding nothing that I wanted to watch, I finally found a show with an interesting title. The show aired for only about 10 minutes, and it was called The Little Things. At first, I laughed because I'm pretty immature like that. It seemed pretty interesting, though, so I decided I would just watch the whole thing. The first 5 minutes of the show was just a short video being replayed of a light switch flipping on and off, and a wrinkly hand in the corner flipping the switch. At first, I just figured that they were playing the wrong clip, but I felt uneasy for some unexplainable reason. In approximately the 6th minute of the show, the video changed. This time, it felt like it was no longer in a constant loop, but a regular video. This made me feel really unsettled, as it no longer felt like an accident, but that it was being played on purpose. Something about the whole thing just made me want to turn the TV off, but for some reason, I couldn't pull myself to do it. Eventually, the moving behind the table bothered me so much that I paused the show to see a clearer image of the silhouette. Immediately, I regretted my mistake. Upon closer view, the person passing behind the table could not actually be a person. It was a misshapen figure with extended claws and drooping skin. That was enough for me. I turned off the TV and walked to my bedroom. I was pretty bored at the time, and I didn't feel tired, so I opened my laptop. When I turned on my computer, the background was one that I did not recognize. My usual background was a picture of a large bird made of fire and what seems to be like a goose made of water facing off. Instead, my background was the picture of a small fluorescent bulb hanging above a table. All I could think of when I saw it was the show that I had watched only mere minutes ago. I started to play some video games to try and get my mind off of it, but I couldn't get the picture out of my head. Eventually, I had had enough, so I turned off my computer and put it away. At this point, I was pretty exhausted, even though it wasn't that late. So I decided that it was time for me to sleep. I slept very peacefully until I was abruptly woken up by the sound of a slight clicking coming from the floor under me. When you're all alone at night, every noise is terrifying, but I dismissed it as the house creaking and went back to sleep. The next morning, I woke up well rested and relieved that I didn't have to go to work today. I was very hungry for some reason, so I pulled some cereal out of the pantry. We were all out of milk, so I would have to go with eating dry cereal. After a couple of minutes, I realized something strange. The kitchen light was on. I know that I had turned it off last night, so why was it on? The next 20 minutes I tried, thinking of ways that the light could have been turned on, but all I could think about was the clicking. When I really thought about it, it did kind of sound like a light switch being flipped. This notion made me sick to my stomach, so I poured my cereal in the trash and went to watch some TV. When I sat on the couch, I realized that I had left the TV on that creepy show last night. I eventually got myself to man up, and I turned on the TV, expecting something horrible to show up. But all that was on the TV was the morning news. I sighed in relief. The news was the same depressing stuff as always. Another suicide bombing in Ankara, that we were on the edge of a financial crisis, and an ongoing war is killing innocent citizens. But one headline caught my attention. Are you leaving your lights on? Yes, I was, but why did it matter if I did? Does it really matter if I left it on or off? At the time, I thought that it didn't, but I couldn't have been more wrong. That night I fell asleep as soon as I fell into bed, but my sleep was quickly interrupted. Out of nowhere, I would hear a click and my bedroom light would turn on. Another click and it would turn off. After a while, I couldn't take it anymore and decided to explore what was happening. Upon following the clicks, I saw that every single light in the house was turning on and off. I ran into my bedroom closet, locked the door, and didn't come out until morning. Something was messing with me, and my lights were its vessel. The next 3 weeks, I lived in paranoia. Eventually, I had had enough, so I decided to remove every single light bulb from my house. I bought many flashlights, and for once I finally felt at peace. No more sleepless nights, no more flickering lights, and best of all, no more clicking. It had been so long since I could finally sleep without dreaming about this horrible being. Why was it doing this to me? All I knew is that it didn't matter anymore. Well, until one night. I was sleeping soundly in my bed when I woke up hearing small scratches. Confused, I sat up, even though I couldn't see anything since all the bulbs were gone. Suddenly, I felt a small warmth against my neck, like someone breathing. Maybe you should have left your lights on.